I've really had a lot of fun reading the Quran and going really just to Surah Baqara and finishing Surah Baqara and really trying to understand it. It's been just my reflection so far. I don't want to rush it. It's been a lot of fun to just say, okay, well, the Muslims are saying, hey, there's a certain way to live life. And what the Islamic thinking seems to be is morality is objective. Objective morality comes from God. Now, the logic of this would be, if objective morality didn't come from God, or if morality didn't come from God, where would it come from? Would it come from society? I would say, obviously, it can't come from society because society itself can be corrupted. So if you look at any society, you'll see that it does well, maybe the society grows, and then it corrupts itself, right? So a good example of that is always Nazi Germany, a good example of how societies can corrupt. If you just follow this cult, that cult, you start thinking that that's the morality in which you should live your life, right? So you're from this culture, you hate that culture, right? For example, I know like in India, they have caste systems. Now, that caste system, they would say, is their morality. Is that morality objective? Maybe to them, that's their subjective view on morality. Now, the Muslims and all these religions say, hey, we have an objective morality, and that objective morality comes from God. If God is the source and the creator of all things, then obviously he created you for a purpose, and that purpose is to fulfill the morality that he told you to fulfill. And this is why, like a Muslim would say, hey, there's a Fitra. Now, what the Fitra is your consciousness. You're conscious, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of like my thoughts on it so far. So your Fitra is your conscious. Like, do good deeds, don't do the wrong thing. You ever like are doing something wrong? I know I've done it. You're doing something wrong, and then while you're doing it, you're like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this. You even feel like anxiety for it, for doing anything that's wrong. That's probably your Fitra telling you, hey, this is not good. So as I was saying in my first video, this is why the Quran is called the reminder. Now, some people say it's called the reminder. Some people say it's not. Please tell me if it is, because I really think it is. I looked it up and it even said it is called the reminder. That's why the Quran is called the reminder, because it's reminding you of what your fitra is. Now, with all that being said, the question is, if you just took the afterlife out of it, what is the best way that a person should live their life while they're here to live the best life? Now, some people would say that it's just to get material, right? So it's about getting the nicest car, getting maybe all the nicest clothes, maybe it's getting the hottest chick, maybe it's going to the best parties, and that's a way of life. Now, what I've been able to see with my own eyes is that that's not the best life. People will chase material things, and then you end up becoming a slave to the material thing that you're chasing. So, what these religions are giving you, whether it's the Jewish religion or the Christian religion or the Muslim religion or a Buddhist religion, is a way of life that goes towards the divine. Right? So, for example, in the Christian religion, you would go to church and you would have a wife, and you're not supposed to cheat on your wife, and you're supposed to raise your kids, and you're supposed to teach them responsibility and teach them about the faith and teach them about Jesus. I don't see that as a bad thing. Like, if the competing narratives are, should you follow what Jesus says or should you follow what the Quran says? I don't have beef with that. And so when people say like, hey, what's your religion, or you're this religion, it's like, I'm trying to see who has the best program. Now, so far, I'm looking at the Quran. Now, why I like the Quran so far is it's telling me like, hey, we came as a confirmation for the Bible, for the Old Testament and the New Testament, or what would be the Injil and the Torah, right? It comes as confirmation, which means that it's confirming the story of Moses, the story of Noah, the story of Abraham, so on and so forth. Like, for example, the Muslims just had Eid. Eid was about the sacrifice of the lamb that had to do with Abraham. It's not Islam exclusive. It's actually an Abrahamic religion. Another example would be in the Quran. It says, tell them that you're part of the religion of Abraham, the upright. So it's about, for me, the way I'm looking at it is, if you look at it like the world from an Islamic perspective, you can say, well, I'm going to follow the Quran, but that doesn't stop me from looking at the Bible as a reference. That doesn't stop me from looking at the story of Moses in depth. It doesn't stop me. Like, what's the story of Moses, right? God tells Moses to stand up to oppression. Obviously, it's a bigger story than that, but it's really about standing up to oppression. If you look at the story of Moses, standing up to oppression. If you look at the story of Jesus, standing up to oppression. You look at the story of Muhammad, standing up to oppression. What is the common theme here? Now, what the Muslims will claim is that their religion is the perfected version of that. But that doesn't, for me personally, that doesn't invalidate the utility of Christianity. It doesn't invalidate the utility of Judaism. It doesn't invalidate the utility of Hinduism. It doesn't invalidate that utility. What I want to do is I want to figure out, hey, what's the best program to clean the soul? That's more important to me. Like, how should you live your life? Should you live your life just chasing women and trying to hook up with as many women as you can? Should you live your life chasing money no matter what? Like Jesus says, what good is it to gain the whole world if you lose your soul? You're chasing the dunya. So if Jesus is saying don't chase the dunya and the Muslims are saying don't chase the dunya, what's the common theme when you're looking at Abrahamic religions, right? So the way I would say is, hey, look at the Bible. If you're Muslim, look at the Bible until it contradicts the Quran and use the Quran as clarity. So with that being said, I don't want to be pigeonholed into any types of belief systems. What I want to do is I want to be able to explore them with as much clarity as possible. And that's why I'm having so much fun reading Surah Baqara, because Surah Baqara, really, it seems to me that it's telling me that. It's saying, look around, read the scriptures, see what's actually going on. I'm not a dogmatic person. I'm a pretty open person. I believe that everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe. And I think that there's utility in all these religions. I think that they're almost like fail-safes to each other. Maybe my opinions are controversial, but if everybody agreed with me, that would probably make me stupid. Because that means that I'm not thinking for myself. And one of the biggest things that I want to do is continue to think for myself. For example, yesterday when I was at the mosque, what was the whole thing about? It was about respecting your parents and sticking to the prayer and connecting with God. That is a universal message. That's a message for Christians. That's a message for Buddhists. That's a message for Muslims. That's a message for Jews. Don't disrespect your parents. Respect your parents. Realize what they did for you. Realize what they're doing for you, that love that they have for you, that you're here. And then thank God for your own consciousness. Doesn't matter what religion you are. If you stop and you go, God, thank you for putting me here, maybe your anxiety goes away. Maybe your depression goes away. Just being grateful to be here. Also, what I've been benefiting from praying is like I'm trying to think about all the stupid things that I've done, all the stupid things that I've said, you're kind of combing through your personality to become a better person. Every religion can benefit from that. It seems like, since we're sticking with the Quran for now, and as I'm going through this, I'm going to be giving kind of reflections. Since we're sticking with the Quran right now, then you could look at things from a Quranic lens and say, okay, well, what should I do? Should I be praying? It benefits everybody. Prayer benefits everybody. It's not just made for the Muslims. It's not just made for the Christians. Tell the atheist to pray. Tell the Hindu to pray. Tell them to connect with God. That's the first step. Connect with your own creator. And every religion seems to be a way to connect with the creator. Don't discount another religion. If they're trying to connect with the creator, that's really the most important part. It doesn't have to be how you want it to be specifically, because it's not about you. It's about a person's individual relationship with God. And that's the only way we grow. Realizing that we don't know everything and just lead it up to God. And that's what these scriptures are for. They're ancient texts to tell you how to move in your life. What to care about, what not to be careful. Be careful. The dunya's here. It's going to grab you. Be careful. Be careful. There's a straight path. There's a line. And let's just continue to explore the morality of it all, Okay, guys. Thanks for listening. Peace.